Okay, I'm going to get right into this comparison of the 1956 Continental Mark II and the 1947 Continental convertible. Now, for those of you that are expecting professional photography, go see George Lucas. He can probably give you a little better experience than I can holding this cheap phone camera and talking to you about the cars without a script and finishing this all in the first take. So anyway, since I'll be sending my Mark II to Germany soon, this is the last chance I get to get it out and see it and video it. Mark II was not supposed to be one that was to be sold. That was my keeper. But with what's going on with Napa County and wanting me to reduce the size of my cars, they're making the decision for me that I have too many cars. Even though you can't see any of my cars from the neighbors, nobody around here has complained about my cars. It's only Napa County looking into what's in my backyard through the eyes of Google Earth. So there you have it. All right, now the 56 Mark II was quite a car that was developed over a number of years in the styling studios of Ford Motor Company and others. They actually put out a competition to come up with the final design. And they started early in the 50s to think about what the car should look like. And although the convertible parked next to it has a little bit different style, if you saw the 40, this body style 41 to 47 coupe has the same roof line and generally the same shape that they ended up with for the 56 Mark II. Quite a history on the Mark II development, like I say, and even the manufacturing assembly line was a special plant dedicated to the Continental. On the car you won't see the name Lincoln anywhere, it just says Continental. That's one big thing. Now the early models had these inlets here for the air conditioning, and already I've been chastised because I said rear air. Well, it's not rear air, it's the unit was actually mounted in the trunk, and there are vents and outlets up in the headliner. You see the chrome outlets there. So the chrome, those vents blew the cold air down onto the passengers from the unit that's mounted in the trunk. We've already got some things in the car that go with it when it gets sent in the container. So I'm going to come around the other side here and you'll see that grill right there. That's a intake grill for recirculating the air from the inside, or if you turn the valve that's right there, the knob for the valve is not on it, the knob's in the glove box, but it's with the car. If you turn that and close it, you can have outside air that comes in through here, or of course the inside recirculating air comes through there. So the Mark II for 1956 and 7, those were the only years the car was built. Low production, very expensive car. The cars were $10,000 in that range when new in 1956 and 7. That was more than double the cost of some very high-end Cadillacs and Lincolns of the day. You've got a gas door back here that swings out to the side to expose the gas fill. And of course the term Continental kit came from the styling of this car, which included this hump on the trunk lid, which under the inside the trunk actually houses the spare tire sitting up there. So putting things in the trunk requires leaning over or reaching over the top of the spare tire. When I got this car, it was pretty much like you see it. The guy that owned it had somebody clean the dash and clean the car before I saw it, and whatever he used to clean the leather padded dash ate the leather, so it was pretty nasty when I got it. And I just went ahead and removed some of the pieces that were remaining. So the interiors, as it was, needs to be cleaned up and restored. There's a new carpet that goes with the car. You see some pretty nice trim pieces that these cars had when new. The chrome covers and the door jambs, and the red piping over the leather, white leather. Tachometer standard, clock standard, full instruments all standard for the Mark II. Under the hood is not detailed. Like I say, this car is pretty much just like it was when I got it. I've had it for about 10 years and able to drive it up and down the street a little bit once in a while, and that's about it. Again, this is the air-conditioned car, so it has the air compressor and all the lines here. The lines happen to be, some of them are copper, and some guys that do the restoration like to polish up that copper so it's nice and shiny. Exhaust is unique in that it goes out through the wheel well and then down there and alongside the rocker, between the rocker and the body floor. Aluminum valve covers, and they have the Continental insignia. Originally there's a wing nut for the air cleaner that is also in the shape of the Continental insignia. I have that. It's just easy for somebody to pocket, so it's in the glove box. And the power steering pump cover is supposed to be a flat cover with another one of the Continental insignia wing nut type things that are supposed to be on there. You can see other Continentals on the internet and see what I'm talking about if you look at them. But this one, the cover's been replaced with the wrong cover, and of course the little special Continental nut won't fit. Again, an original unrestored car, so you're going to see all kinds of places that it needs to have cleanup, but it's all there. It's totally authentic and unrestored. Egg crate grill. Another thing, if you look at different Mark IIs, you'll see variations of the front bumper. Some have lower bumper guards, some have upper and lower. There's just different things going on. So every car was hand built, and every car is just a little bit different. The turn and park lenses are in the glove box. I've taken some stuff off the car and put it away for safekeeping for the shipping. So there you have it, the Mark II. Wonderful cars, excellent cars to drive. Just look at those lines. Isn't that something for 1956? What a car. And then we go to the 47. The 46 and 47 were pretty close to the same. You get in the earlier ones, the body change was a little bit different, particularly the front end. Just want to show you something here. Push the door and you see it pops open. That's the original door popper. So all you guys that put door poppers on your cars and think it's a cool new innovation, guess what? You got nothing on these cars. They had them back in the 40s. So this car was found in a garage. It had been parked inside, from what I'm told, in 1965, and the engine was pulled out and taken apart, and there it sat. The owner kept it registered till 1971, but it never left the garage until we discovered it several months ago and picked it up. Now, the original color on this car was not black. It was actually this green color, which would have been the original color. So it was repainted sometime in the 50s or 60s. But the interior, everything you see here, everything you see is absolutely original 1947. Sorry about the car cover in the back. Notice the wool carpets, which have been, well, moth-eaten, basically, and worn. Original convertible top, just starting to come apart. The threads are usually what goes first. And your Lincoln front end here. Okay, let's see if we can get the hood open. There's the original Lincoln flathead V12, 3-speed manual transmission behind it. Like I say, the engine was all in pieces laying in the garage. We're able to find all the pieces and get it all back gathered up, put back together. Hydraulic pump motor for the windows and top. Yeah, the windows are hydraulic. They all have a hydraulic cylinder inside, and there's lots of hydraulic hoses and lines running through the car to make those windows work, and also the top. There's a lot of people that have this love-hate relationship with the V12 flathead. This one was taken apart, obviously, because it was overheating, and we found inside the block and radiator loaded with core sand. It had never really been cleaned out when new, so I imagine it ran hot all the time. And there's a gentleman in Florida that rebuilds the water pumps with a more efficient impeller. Helps cool the engine. a lot better. Of course, just removing all the junk in the block helped quite a bit. So I can't push the hood down hard enough by one hand. I'm not gonna. Walk around here again, open this door with the door popper. And we'll take a look inside here. Gauges, instruments, how nice they are, very great, excellent condition. And nothing has been cleaned, polished, detailed at all. Yes, it needs it, but you can see that it will clean up quite well. So this fender skirt was laying on a workbench that obviously somebody had been sliding it around and scratched off the paint. Things that happen to cars when they get parked and not cared for. I try to drive the cars as much as possible. I tell everybody, if you're not going to be able to drive the car once a month for at least a 30-minute time to warm up the car and get all the condensation out of all the oils and lubricants and exhaust system, then you might as well not drive it at all. So I try to do that. I have cars that I'll get out and drive, and I have cars that I haven't driven for months or even years. But I know what I have to do to those cars that have not been driven. I can expect to do a complete brake job, put tires on it, go through the cooling system, ignition system, hoses, belts, change all the fluids, run it, and after it runs for half an hour or so, then we're going to change all the fluids again, check everything over again, and be ready to go. And of course the other thing is, during all that, you'll find that the gas tank is probably junk, because the condensation that's gone in there and mixed with the gasoline has turned it to a nasty greasy substance that plugs everything up and messes up the whole system, especially if it has new modern gas. I've got a older Cadillac out in the shop that's probably been out of service for 30 years, and that's the old gas with lead in it. It probably is in good shape, as was the gas in the Lincoln here. The gas tank was clean, just fine, because it was the old gas that doesn't have all the new chemicals. It doesn't have alcohol. It doesn't have all the problems that new gas has that we've had to put up with for the last 20 years. So, okay, I've worn out my voice here talking about all this stuff, showing you the two Continentals and getting a good video of my 56 Mark II before I send it away. So there you are. Hope you enjoyed the videos. Again, if you don't like the shaky camera, the unscripted description, or anything else about the video, go see one of George Lucas's films. Much better. Thanks for watching.